Hello everybody and welcome to the Asterix arcade game from the 90s, made by Konami.
Named Asterix.
Yeah, it's just Asterix, that's all it is.
Yeah, Asterix.
Made by,
Trademark.
Basically, as you can see through this tutorial, it's a scrolling beat 'em up, which is basically the perfect genre to put Asterix in, so by all means.
Konami was doing was kind of on a streak when it came to making beat 'em ups based on Western properties. Aside from this, I distinctly remember was one with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and one for The Simpsons.
The first thing you'll notice is the fantastic spread animation that perfectly captures the Durzo's art style. There you go. So basically, this screen is just teaching you how to play.
Yeah. Hello. Yeah. Welcome to Asterix.
But for
so aside from the actual appearance of the moves, do Asterix and Obelix feel different to play? Like say Obelix is
Asterix, the hero of these adventures. There you go, just like in the book. Obelix, Asterix's inseparable friend. Getafix, the venerable village druid, Panacea, and the other Gauls. There you
I
go.
love how it's even in.
They got the basics right.
complete with the high score ranking, of course.
All right, you were saying they do feel somewhat differently in terms of Obelix feeling heavier, and unlike the only different move they have is that Asterix is the slide and Obelix has the Minier, but aside from that, they're basically the same. It's basically a matter of which one is your favorite.
So let me guess.
So there you go. Now
your enemies, the Romans.
The story is an anthology, Jove. It's basically an adaptation of various books, except it also has some original material. What these developers have decided to cover right from the beginning, Jove, is that what exactly was the first time that the Romans attacked the village, because that never was covered in the books at all. In fact, it wasn't ever covered in any Asterix media. So
even the first book, Jova Asterix the Gaul, just basically picks up after a while when we started.
Yeah, there's no actual first adventure of Asterix, at least not of yet, at the time of this recording. So these developers decided to, why not do that? Let's have the first time that they were ever attacked. So basically, Asterix and Obelix are going on their own to take care of the Romans who are attacking the village. And basically, Panacea just sometimes in levels, and she kisses her and heals her life a bit.
Can she possibly get attacked by the enemies or something?
No. She has NPC immunity.
I don't know if you actually ever played one of those, Jova, but arcade beat 'em ups of the 90s have a sort of some sort of hidden rules that it works.
And trust me, I know. That's why
some of these include, for example, someone or something giving a power-up being basically invulnerable in the screen and only for you or the enemy to use.
One thing you'll notice as well, too, when I'm about to do the rotating punch, which is a classic move from the books, it causes reactions. The Legionnaires, they start biting their teeth, their nails, because they're afraid, and the Centurions just tell the Legionnaires to charge, because they don't want to have to face it themselves. So that's a nice little attention to detail, and again, it's perfectly faithful to the books. Alright, so the potion is for Asterix and the boar is for Obelix, and yes, you can play two players. Basically, what the potion and the boar does is it heals practically all of your life, and basically you get to kill all enemies on screen. But I'm saving it for later because there's a more powerful Centurion coming right after this. There you go.
Well, this game actually had 4 composers. Weird.
There you go. Magic potion.
That's right, they haven't been using
sound
the
effects.
That's right, they actually haven't been
in case you were wondering if this game was made in Japan or not,
Of course.
Anyway, Mitsuhiko Izumi, Michiru Yamane, Makiro Egawa, and Julia Nakano. I think one of them is the Castlevania composer, I think.
So there you go. Basically, it's a straight up scrolling beat 'em up, which is perfectly fine because this is exactly the kind of game you'd expect out of Asterix. So.
Yep, there she is, Michiru Yamane. There you go. That's one of the composers for a year, and she worked for almost all the Castlevania titles. Sorry.
Here.
Oh, the Legion.
They're crazy. These Romans are crazy. Again, it's already you can tell. I'm guessing that you'll agree that they capture the spirit perfectly.
Pretty much. Both,
So where's
both,
it established that this is the first time the Romans have ever...
Yes,
you know,
right after I defeat the boss, Jova. About to die.
about to die.
There we go.
There we go.
Alright, I'll read it. Thus, Asterix's village beat off the Roman invasion. And now, various adventures are about to begin. So there you go, Jova. This is the prequel to all the other adventures. Okay, so here's the bonus stage. We're in the Roman Colosseum. We're in the Roman Colosseum, and we're going to have a chariot race. No, Dwebs, don't worry, Dwebs. This will not go badly like in Ben-Hur.
And we mean the reboot.
There you go.
Oh yeah, the one with Morgan Freeman that somehow managed to suck. Not that Morgan Freeman is always invulnerable to bad movies, Stephen King, but still though, dang.
Alright, so the first book we're going to do is Asterix in Egypt, aka Asterix and Cleopatra. Defeat the evil architect, but rescue the good one in Egypt. And now you'll notice too, they even take some panels straight from the book.
Yep. A more abridged version, but it works.
So yeah, what this translates into the gameplay is just beat the crap out of the Romans so that they don't destroy the palace, because that's actually something that happens in the climax of the book anyway.
She also worked for Rocket Knight Adventure, well, the other Sparkster games, 2 Pro Evolution Soccer games, Dweebs, and apparently Suikoden 3.
That is perfect.
Oh, okay. More recently, she worked for Skullgirls and the Bloodstained games, obviously.
Nice.
The only real major new gimmick for this particular section is the tornado. Basically, if you get caught in the tornado, you get stuck and you're basically open to an attack. So there you go.
Yes, the famous Egyptian tornadoes.
Yes, of course.
You'd be surprised. There's actually... That tends to pop up in a lot of Egyptian media for some reason.
Well, the closest thing I can imagine was in, the Exodus, when the column of fire started out as a tornado. But
there you go.
It's because tornadoes are mystical and mysterious, and sometimes we associate those with
just like Twister showed us, don't you know?
Yes, they can even growl too.
I gotta love how the Legionnaires were flustered.
Yeah.
Again, there's a lot of cool details that are add to the personality, and again, completely faithful to Uderzo and Goscinny's work. I mean, I don't know exactly how popular Asterix is in Japan, if at all, but these developers pretty much nailed it.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised. That's the thing. It seems to be completely made up from Konami. No real commission, unless I guess it was from the Goscinny and Uderzo company,
Mm-hmm.
But aside from that, it's not like an external, company like Infogrames is going to do it. Because Infogrames published most of the other Asterix games in the future.
For an arcade game, this actor doesn't seem too tough. Then again, it probably helps that you're able to program in as many lives as you want. Well, up to 7.
Well, that's the thing, Jova. I have the game set up on the easiest mode, and I give myself max lives.
Right.
So
okay.
because
I guess your brother wasn't available for helping you this time.
No. And that's the thing. This game, like all 90s arcade beat 'em ups, was very hard. So basically, I gave myself infinite continues, and so to make my job easier. So there you go. Now we're inside the pyramid. There is actually a sequence in the book where we're inside the pyramid as well. So this also fits. Yeah. There you go.
I guess one of the reasons why the Cleopatra book is one of the most, adapted as well, aside from popularity, I guess it's actually rather easy as a story to guess, because it functions more like a sort of an anthology. Like I said, the concept itself is that when Caesar is not attacking the village, something else is a problem in some other country, whereas the Greeks have to travel and save their problems like that. And in case of Egypt, is Cleopatra wanting to build a monument that will impress Caesar and will, having not conquered the country, because that would be very nice.
Yes, and the architect somehow knows Getafix, the druid. That never is.
The thing is, the architect that Cleopatra chooses is kind of an incompetent whip, so it's up to our brave heroes to actually fix the situations of their own. And the series of adventures that we get in Egypt can work as a sort of a mini anthology, each episode working on its own while progressing the main story.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. So many Romans to beat the crap out of.
So little time. Actually, it's surprising enough this beat 'em up doesn't have a timer. Weird.
It does too, but it's invisible.
Ah, okay.
Well, remember too, pretty much all of the arcade ones at the time had like
That's what I mentioned. It wasn't visible the timer. Usually, it's very easy stuff like the first thing that you think of, like
yeah,
for example,
Cadillacs and Dinosaurs or something like that.
Too. Final Fight, stuff like that.
There you go. All right. And now to mix things up, let's do some platforming.
Surprisingly enough, the beat 'em up that I was playing, not the most, but the more unique that I got to play when I was a kid, was one time in 1996, I think it was summer, that was one of the Capcom Dungeons and Dragons beat 'em up games. It was actually really good. Although, it was just me and my sister, so 2 players are a bit disadvantaged of that. Those kind of games are more enjoyed if you're playing like in 4.
Mm-hmm. I actually played this game back in the day in arcades.
I don't remember if it ever came here. Unfortunately, I only got to see a few arcades here and there, so I'm not sure if this was present or not.
There you go.
Go on, Pedro.
No, that's pretty much it. Like, that's how I first knew about this game. Like, and to this day, of all the ones that I played, it's still my favorite Asterix game because of all the ones that I've played, it's the one that basically perfectly captures the look, the feel, and it's just a fun beat 'em up to play in general.
The only Asterix game I played was that PS1 game called The Gallic War, which it's a bit of an hybrid. It has this beat 'em up component, although working on an actual 3D screen. Although it's weird. The camera follows you for a lot of time, but sometimes you get fixed camera spots where you're forced to beat a horde of enemies. But the beat 'em up mechanics are pretty much identical. You have the rotating punch with Asterix. Even the power up is identical. Potion for Asterix, bore for Obelix, like that. Although it doesn't do the nuke screen, it just helps you with your health bar. The problem is that the platforming for those sections, yes, because there is platforming, sometimes can get out of hand real fast. So yeah, I wish they just stuck with beating up. But to give credit, the final section in the Colosseum, the final stretch of the game, is an actual beat 'em up, so pure and only. So yeah.
Indeed. All right, we're almost at the boss. Basically, they came up with an original boss since there's no real boss that you could have used from the book for this one. Basically, as a little deviation from the source material, the evil architect hires a sorcerer to face us.
Yeah, I think hold on. I think when he shows up, I'll mention it. Jeez.
First, we even have him say charge. There you go. Don't be such cowards.
It's weird. It's unfortunately. Sorry, Wikipedia doesn't say.
There you go.
Oh, there we go. Yeah. You mentioned these. There you go. You mentioned these when we were watching 12 Tasks of Asterix. There you go. That's
Basically, they took the guy from 12 Tasks of Asterix and put him here. Interesting choice. Well, whatever. It works. It's still technically someone from a previous Asterix work, so I guess it works as fan service.
He's quite the wake-up call, boss, I see.
Basically, here's how it works.
It's an arcade beat 'em up, Jova. It has to be structured specifically to blindside you and steal as much as quarters as we can.
Obviously.
But of course.
The basic gist of it is this. Make sure you're always walking, because that's the best way to avoid these bolts of lightning. Whenever he does that move where he shoots light out of his eyes somehow. He makes both Asterix or Obelix behave like pigs, because you can even hear in the enchanting words, whatever pig shop or whatever the hell he says. It's kind of hard to understand. Don't worry, they're speaking English. It's just that they're hard to understand because I'm pretty sure the voice actors were the developers themselves.
Yeah, it's a bit of a shame because Wikipedia, aside from the composer, Wikipedia doesn't state that much about the game.
Hold on, Theo.
You're not Dr. Wily.
Yeah. And we have some Egyptian... Thus, the evil architects were defeated, and the palace was built without a hitch. Cleopatra was pleased, and Caesar was vexed.
Cleopatra and her beautiful nose.
And now Asterix in Britain. Defend your cousin's village in Britain from the Roman legions.
Oh yes, Lewis, that's an actual story, and they actually made an animated adaptation of that.
There you go. Here's the problem.
Asterix in Britain.
Yes, there is
the twist is particularly interesting for you and Shiro, let's just say that.
The sad part there is that I guess they ran out of time and they sacrificed this one because what they did is they went completely off and didn't even get to. Instead, what they do is they stop the ship that's going towards England to stop from even getting to England. So we never actually set foot in Britain in this adaptation. It's a weird direction they took for it.
Why the fuck is it called in Britain then?
That's because that's the name of the book, Dwips. Basically, here's the basic gist of it, Dwips. Asterix has a British cousin, for reasons that I have yet to understand. And here's the interesting thing, Dwips. They do a great job parodying ye old England. Basically, since this was before tea was invented, every day at 5 p.m. they drink hot water.
With a spruce of milk sometimes.
What about the tea leaves?
That's the thing, Dwips. Asterix in Britain actually talks about how tea was invented, believe it or not. That's kind of one of the... Again, it's the type of humor that Goscinny liked to do. He always liked to do these kinds of... And that turns out it was because of Asterix that the tea was invented.
Yeah.
To even idea, Dwips, they even have the British king of the books even say, "Wow, this is delicious. I should have to make this our national drink." So yeah, Goscinny liked to be cheeky like that.
Yeah.
There you go.
I just can't get enough of the fact that they're using gun sound effects for the punches.
All right. So basically, we have to defeat the evil Romans. There you go. Boss battle.
Against the drummer?
Yeah, basically one of them uses the drum things, and whereas the other one uses a whip. I don't know. I don't know which book this one is taken from. These guys. I mean.
Maybe Asterix and Asterix the Legionary, because at some point they have to travel through that.
Probably. The basic gist of it is, obviously this fight is way easier when you have two players.
Yeah, dual boss and all.
Let's try Obelix for a bit. There you go, the iconic swinging punch. Well, remember too, he does that attack plenty of times.
Yeah.
Like even in the recent CGI movie he did. There you go. Fuck. Basically, here's how the swinging punch works. You can't charge it for too long because otherwise you'll get tired and the enemies will have a free hit on you. So make sure you're careful when you're using. It's the most powerful attack in the game, but at the same time it's a double-edged sword because if you charge it too much, you'll get tired. You'll waste the attack, and the enemies will have a free shot at you. So.
I should probably ask, an actual French version, how big was the arcade era there in France? I'm guessing very big, because in that case I can totally see instead the Goscinny Universal Company actually commissioning a beat 'em up arcade.
Gotta love the Centurion's animation. Basically, when you're close to defeating them, that it changes the enemy.
Makes sense.
About to die.
Still about to die. But there's the thing that the characters speak only in English. I don't think there is a French. Hold
on, Theo.
Took the coward's way out.
Ho ho ho! Thus, the Roman troops were defeated, and the British village was saved.
God
Thanks
save
to
Doc White.
Asterix and Obelix.
And now a bonus stage with the pirates.
Of course, it had to be the pirate.
Basically, for those who don't know, there's a running gag in the Asterix boys, and even there you go, and even the recent movies continue that, where a lot of times the Gauls come across the ship of pirate, the exact same group of pirates, and those pirates are always get their ship destroyed by Asterix and Obelix for a multitude of different reasons. There they are.
Perfect. Yeah, sometimes we just prefer to just abandon
There you
shit
go.
like that.
Tisk. Man overboard.
And now, this is an original
The
story.
Admirable Panacea.
Asterix and the Admirable Panacea. Say Panacea was kidnapped by bandits.
I thought it said Asterix had the admirable pancreas.
I think this is from the Asterix Take on Caesar animated adaptation, which in itself mixes a bit of stories in one.
I thought it said the admirable pancreas.
No, dude.
I'm tired.
Well, this was made by Japanese people, so who knows? So yeah, basically, for some reason, they have the bandits who kidnap Panacea be the Spanish bandits from Asterix in Spain.
Weird.
It's weird. Not just, it's even weird to Asterix in Spain is in this game, so
I guess they just wanted to use a level to recycle models.
no, that's the thing. They don't. It's just Romans in that one. So
Okay then.
a weird choice, but whatever. Oh, I love Obelix's voice. Oh,
But yeah, like I was saying, I don't think there is. While the text is both English and French, I don't think there is a version of the game with French voice acting. So I wonder what was the thought process of Konami and whoever commissioned this to them.
maybe they were. That's the thing. I don't even know. It's hard to find. I mean, this game will never get re-released because it's trapped in Konami's dungeons. So I guess we'll never know too. There you go.
This music, it's so jolly and good feel.
Well, Jova, that's Obelix's best pastime. Beat the crap out of people, especially Romans.
Oh, maybe it's this one.
Oh, hi, DFX. How you doing? Oh, look
We
at
only
that
have
tail. He
time
brought us a
for-
boar.
Yes, we get it. We're coming. Jeez. Meow, meow, meow.
So there you go, too. See, a boar makes you invulnerable.
Well, of course. It's all the extra fat. Just don't tell Obelix. He gets really, really pissed about that.
Unless that's the thing too. Like it depends on the person itself. Sometimes there's even times where even Asterix sometimes calls him that. Well, actually no, there was one time when Asterix called him that and he got punched for it. But have you ever seen Teo the 1001 Nights of Asterix?
I don't.
The magic carpet one.
No, is that the one where you need to get the petroleum?
No. It's the one where
it's a different one. Okay,
it's the one with the dry village, and we need the Cacophonix's help so we can sing and bring rain, because in that book for some reason
I think I heard that one, but I actually haven't bothered to see it yet. Yeah, there you go. That's the.
They're crazy. These Spanish are crazy. Whatever.
Doesn't work.
Well, actually, too, in the books, Obelix always changes that sentence to mean whatever the hell in the context of that specific book. He always goes,
True.
these Spanish are crazy. These whatever. Obelix always changes it according to the book in specific. So.
True.
Enemy 1.
Now, basically, there's this book. I forgot specifically how it's called.
The most
but it's
don't you see it? It's the most memorable character in all of Asterix. Enemy 1.
But it's one of the more pointless. It's one of the more pointless story because, oh Jesus! One of the more common, element in the stories is that, card level.
Yes, card level.
Is that sometimes, for some reason, Getafix needs a new special ingredient for the magic potion, and otherwise it just doesn't work. So, and now they need to get it from the nation that we're going to. In that case, it's petroleum. I'm not even kidding. So they spend the entire story searching for it, but through an accident at the end with the Romans, they actually spill it entirely, so they're practically demoralized. And when they go back to the village, Get the Fix pretty much just said, oh, I actually didn't need it. I found that lobster works just as fine.
Bye, Panacea. You're welcome for saving you.
Well, she did. Well, she did give us a thank you kiss.
Goodbye, Pancreas.
Well, to be fair, Mario did get a thank you kiss at the end in Super Mario 64.
Yes, that was back. That was like 20-something years ago. But I digress. See you for the next part.
See everybody.